Hello, good evening. Welcome to Talkin Kop. It's full-time reaction. It is finished. Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 2. Liverpool move 8 points clear of second place Arsenal. I'm joined by Ashley and Kev. And how are we all doing after that? I can see in the chat we're all quite calm and relaxed about it.
Everyone seems really happy.
Kev, how are you finding that, mate?
Frustrated, disappointed, relieved. Take your pick. It's another game. I'm glad we got the half hour to think about it, because if you look back at the game, it's 2-2 draws, fair result on the night. But we missed glaring chances in that game. Two really, really big chances to win that and make it comfortable. But can't really complain about the scoreline when you look back at it. It was hard fought. It was always going to be a tough place to go, and when you don't finish your dinner, it becomes a really difficult place to go. But yeah, look, it was funny enough. They made it for once. Sam Matterpace made a really good point at the end of the game.
It's very rare, aren't they?
Yeah, they're rare. But if you're not playing well and still picking up points, you know that's all you can do, because plenty of sides will not play well and lose and chuck in a couple of losses. We're not. When we're not at it, we're still picking up points. You know, it's not ideal, far from ideal. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have picked up 1 point than none. And it could have very easily gone the other way at the very end. Could have ended up fucking losing the 1 point that we had secured. So, you know, you got to be fucking honest about it. We created enough chances. I worry more for us in games when we don't create chances. And yeah, look, Villa with the lineup that they had, and being at home and the way they are this season, they're always going to get chances. They'll always score goals. They very rarely don't score. So as long as we were creating chances, I knew we were well in it. So, you know, worry about Liverpool when we're not creating chances. That's when you really worry. But as it stands at the minute, look, I'm not overly delighted with the point, but I'm happy enough with it.
Yeah, I mean, Dave T, who's Newcastle fan, says that point could also be the point that wins you the league. You'll see at the end of the season. You know,
at the end of the season, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John was pointing here, draws or losses, Kev. Look at 18-19, 21-22. But
John, that's one of the most stupid, ignorant comments I've heard in a long time. Do you honestly think we're being chased by Man City? Do you think we're being chased by a side that's capable of getting 100 points? Give your fucking head a wobble, for fuck's sake. Maybe go back and watch the game again. Actually watch the game. All right, have a look at the table. Have a look at Arsenal's form over the season. What makes you think Arsenal are capable of winning 12 games on the bench? They fucking ain't. They never have shown any kind of form to show they can do that. And even when they're fully strength, in the first half of the season, when they were full strength, they never shown any form to do that. What's this with this PTSD shit that we have to get 100 points? We're nowhere near that. We're not on that kind of form, and no one else is either. But guess what? We've lost once this season back in September. You know, I don't understand people are fucking disappointed with a point at Villa. But I'll tell you what, there's a reason why they qualified in the top 8 in the Champions League groups. They're a good fucking side. And they're a good side who went and spent money in the January window, and they've reinforced, and they're better for it. So, you know, maybe stop being fucking so entitled that you're entitled to go and win every fucking week, and look at it back and say, yeah, do you know what? That could have been a lot worse. Could have been better. Could have been a lot fucking worse. But take the fucking point.
Yeah, I mean, James LFC 86 Asher said, "City have ruined football, where you have to be perfect now. This is a proper title race," and this is followed up by Gary D, who's also put, "United won many titles like this. City changed the narrative, winning titles by cheating. Yeah, but this is a normal title race." And then Brian also puts up a point in. "Tonight's disappointing because we should have won, you know, because we had the chances. We could afford not to win 4 or 5 of the remaining fixtures, in my opinion, due to the gap between us and Arsenal." And I think that's where I am. I don't know about you, actually. I'm disappointed we haven't won because we had the chances to win it, especially the Jota and Nunez chance, which we'll come to. But, I mean, overall, I thought performance was all right. You know, could have been better, but, you know, I'm disappointed with the second goal. I think the second goal is a bit of a kick in the teeth, and it's nothing to do with being leggy and anything like it. It was players just generally not doing the job of picking a runner up.
Yeah, I I don't know. I feel like you can almost break that game down into chunks where, for the first 15 or so minutes, I was really impressed with us and the way that we were passing. I thought the tactical tweaks looked really good. I thought that the spacing between players looked a little bit more intentional. I think the middle of the game felt very evenly matched, and then kind of the last 15 minutes, it felt like we were taking risks to try to win the game, and they were kind of backfiring because there were at least 3 or 4 chances at the end of that game where I was like, it was like nail biting time. It was like an, oh my God, we're lucky to get out of here with a point. So I think, I don't know, like it was like a weird ebb and flow for me in terms of how I felt throughout that game emotionally, where at the beginning of the game, I was like, oh, we're definitely going to win this. The middle of the game, I was like, this is a very evenly kind of matched game. Toward the end, I was like, for fuck's sake, like we can't score to save our life at this point, in terms of our forward line. And it felt like just getting out of there with any sort of point was going to be, I was happy like with getting out of there with a point, because I thought at the end of that game, it was gonna. I thought we were just gonna crumble again, and I think we're all kind of sitting here. That Everton game, I think, really put a dent in fans' confidence as well as maybe players' confidence. I think that if we had lost today's game, I think that the narrative around Liverpool could have changed drastically. I think holding on to a point in a really tough game, in a really tough environment, there are other teams in this league that are very good that will go to Villa and they will lose. And there are other teams that have gone to Villa and they've drawn in games where Villa have deserved to win. I'm not as furious about this result as the Everton one, if that makes sense, in terms of draws go.
Yeah, I mean, Kev has to deal with me in WhatsApp chats as do you. And even I, although I was disappointed with the goals, I can't say, Kev, I was like ranting, raving, this is ridiculous. Right. It's one of those like going, it's a disappointing draw, but do you know what?
That first 10 minutes of the game today, we were out the traps.
Oh yeah,
we were out. The traps started really well. We're on them from the first minute. It was pretty relentless.
That ball in behind was on for Jota all the time.
Yeah,
and
did really well.
That's where our chances came from. We just didn't take them. Also, for Lives in chat, he's saying Villa are a tough team. It's not a bad result. Even opposition fans are saying it's not a bad result. James, again, you'll need to look at the top of the league. Wants to win it. I think it was 95-96 when it was won on the last day of the season. Yeah, I think it said 95-96 when United won it over Newcastle. So last time someone's had more than a gap of this and not won the game. And also United had a couple of games in hand, I think, as well. So, well, I'm not sitting here saying we're definitely winning it, but
I'd rather be us than Arsenal right now.
Yeah, we put ourselves in such a position that you put yourself in a position that is, in any season, even if you get chased by City, an 8-point lead, even with an extra game played, is still a healthy position.
Yeah. I wouldn't swap the position we're in for the position Arsenal are in, because Arsenal are sat there.
Or squad-wise.
Oh, no, it doesn't. I mean, whatever about the squad-wise. Point-wise, when you're chasing someone down, if they're still picking up points when, they're up against it, then you've got a problem. You genuinely have a problem. So it's like...
That's an interesting result. PSV have knocked out Juventus.
Well, I'll tell you what that does. With Atalanta going out last night, the odds of the Champions League or the Premier League getting 5 places next season have gone right up. Because Serie A allocation will probably take a big dent with 2 sides going out at this stage. I know. Did Milan get knocked out as well?
Yeah, Milan got knocked out. Yeah, so I think
Milan got knocked out as well.
Inter's the only Italian side left in the Champions League now.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, look, I've seen a few comments. There shouldn't be a title race. They should have been over. They rarely
shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm seeing there's a few comments in here that are really spiraling. Where it comes to we're falling apart, the legs are falling off. Like it's the end of the season, guys. Like, take a step back, take a few deep breaths. Like, go outside, stare at the sky for a little bit, and get away from your computer screens because honestly, some of
Unless you're in North America, don't go outside. It's cold.
I mean, it's cold, but still, like, get some fresh air. Like, chill out.
Yeah. This season is just. You know what? It's a normal season. You're looking at sides probably. I think most of the sides in the Premier League. I don't think there's anyone doing, you know, a pick 4, a pick 6 on a weekend on their betting slip and getting rich off results this season, because this season is throwing up crazy scorelines everywhere. No one's consistent. Us, I mean, look, we haven't lost in the league since September, but you can't say that we're consistent.
No,
You know,
we're 22 games undefeated. I think Arsenal are 15. But like you said, Kev, it's like
it's 3 wins and a draw.
I think that's the best for Arsenal. It's 3 wins a draw, and I think ours is like 4 or 5 wins and then a draw. Do you know what I mean? It's not doing what you have to do in 18-19 or 19-20. It's not that type of league. It's not.
Are you looking at? You go down to tonight after tonight's result, right? Villa played 26. They're in 9th on 39 points. You're going all the Man City are in 4th on 44. There's nothing in this. We're sat at the top, played 26 on 61 points. That's a good points total for this time of the season in any season. You know, Arsenal are having a good season. 25 points, 53 points. But from there down, it's tight. But anyone can beat anyone in this league. You know, so taking points away at Villa Park, in a side who are going to be in the last 16 of the Champions League, and depending on their draw, could go deeper in that, you know, is not a bad point. It just isn't. Any metric you want to look at the stats from the game tonight. You know, we had chances to win it, yeah. But at the same time, so did they. You know, so you're not going to get it handed to you. And sometimes you go away and you take your point. You know, if it's not working, if you get a glaring miss, like we did, you take your point. The worst thing you could do, could you imagine if Malin
took that chance
scores
at the
that
end?
one, took that chance at the end?
Close away to having a very different conversation.
Well,
like,
and it's like, and that's the margins. You know, for both sides, that's the margins. You know, it's like, look, you go back to the lineups, right? I mean, we made changes, they made changes, but
you called it, Kev.
I called it, but it was more of a case
I'm
of.
Sorry for doubting you. Just
throwing
that up.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, Kev called this." Something's like left wing.
Yeah, I called it, but I called it more in a kind of a laughy, jokey way to try and get an extra 5 or 10 minutes out of the show and have a chat about it, the what if moment. But yeah, I didn't think he'd do it, but I also didn't expect Jones to play out on the left. But he never did really. He never really hugged the sideline.
It's more of a box, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the best thing about that lineup tonight was it forced Robertson to go high and wide. And most of the time he did. He cut inside a few times, and when he did, he got good crosses across the box. But overall, Mo Salah held his whiff really, really well. I mean, didn't probably have his best night. Chalked up the numbers as he always does. A constant threat, worked, you know, and gave Digne a torrid time at stages tonight where Digne just didn't know what to do. Do I dive in? Do I stand off? You know, what way do you what you want to do? But look, I suppose the first one really, I can't remember which order this goes now because
Salah goal was first.
Salah goal was first, yeah. But before that, did the Sassy land McAllister with a right hook?
He
whacked McAllister in the face, which is a yellow card for an aggressive.
It was called a reckless act by the VAR.
Slap it someone in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually thought that should have been looked at for a red card.
It was a short right hook.
Yeah,
it was
a short right hook, for God's sake.
You know,
it was looked at. It was passed.
He planted him, like. I mean, not only can you now kick McAllister in the chest and it's okay, you can now drop him with a short right hook, and it's okay. It's a book. For the life of me, I do not understand how that's a yellow card. I cannot wrap my head around it being a yellow card.
So clearly they saw it because they gave him a card. Like a quote from the FA in terms of red card. It says, In addition, a player who, when not challenging for the ball, deliberately strikes an opponent or any other person on the head or the face with the hand or the arm is guilty of violent conduct, unless the force used was negligible. And if the player's on the ground, that to me is not negligible. And I don't think that McAllister was acting. I don't think he was playing that up. That is a red card offense by the letter of the law.
Well, every which way you look at it, I honestly thought he turned around because they were both at each other in the box. I honestly thought he turned around and chinned him. That's what it looked like.
I know McAllister's short, and that's the excuse that I'm seeing online. It's he's so little that it's easy to punch him in the face.
Whatever.
That is a ridiculous excuse.
It is ridiculous, but look, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference because you go out the other end. I mean, does Jota's miss was after Salah's goal, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jota's misses at 2-1.
28 minutes is where the first goal happened. You had Garcia, who kind of made a little bit of a reckless dive in. He missed his back pass, and the back pass went straight to Jota. And then I thought Jota actually kept his composure really well there. I think, as opposed to the Wolves game where he fell over and probably should have shot, in this case, he picked out the smart pass to Mo, and Mo Salah does Mo Salah things. That's 15 Premier League goals away, which is a new record for him. It's his 24th goal in the Premier League. It's 17 goals in 18 games. Like, I can list off about 8 different statistics, and they're all record breaking. So in terms of Mo Salah, he's literally carrying this team. I don't think there's any way that obviously there are other players that are contributing, but Mo Salah is single-handedly dragging us to the top of the table right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, if anyone who's ever played FIFA or EAFC, that's a rat goal. Every which way you look at it, it's a rat goal, and you see it all the time online when you're playing. Whoever's coming in wide cuts it back into a guy who's going through the middle of the box, because you're making sure of the chance. Jota could have had the shot, but I think Martinez probably covered off his angles really well. So he was making sure, and it was a really good finish. It wasn't against the run of play, because if you go back and look at the first 10 minutes of that game, we were all over them. They got back into it. They got back into it, but overall, I think we were probably the better side up until that stage. And Jota really should have done better. He really should have done better. He tried to wrap his foot around it. And
was that the one from the Konate pass that you're talking about?
Yeah.
That was before. That was a little while back. That was like at 17 or so. Yeah.
I thought it was after that.
That was Jota's shot wide that, I think all of us looked at that and we were like, how did he even go so wide? They were looking back at it, looking for a bobble or something that must have happened.
I think sometimes when you're going to take the ball, you step to one side to try to get the whip on it. I honestly think because it was Martinez, he wanted to make sure. I think any other keeper, he doesn't try to make that angle, and he just gets it on target. I honestly think he looked at Martinez and thought, I have to get this into the side netting. And he just shanked it. It was a bad miss, but there was worse to come.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that.
That was not the worst miss of the night, believe it or not.
Oh, no.
Let's talk about their 2 goals, though. So Tielemans gets the first one. It's a good header out by Konate. It's high and wide. We don't stop the cross. Maybe a bit overcritical. Could Szoboszlai do a bit better with his header? Could he put it wider? I don't know, but it's a good finish. It's a good finish by Tielemans.
I honestly think Alisson should come and claim that.
He could have claimed it.
I think I think Alisson should have come to claim that. Yeah. Szoboszlai is in the air. There was no power on the ball. There was no pace on the ball. So he tries to get a header on it, and he's never going to get distance. He's never going to get distance from there. I think Alisson is probably close enough that he should have shot. I think he might have called for it, and Szoboszlai was already looked. The ball's there. I got a header. But
the one that annoyed me was more the second goal. It's a free kick. Free kick. Which, listen, Rashford does well in it. There is a handball in the build-up. When you see the replays, it is a handball by John McGinn. But look, ref doesn't see it, and ultimately you have to play to the whistle. VAR is never going to take it that far back.
No, but some of our players did stop, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, the annoying thing was Watkins plays the 1-2 and then runs past Sobersley. Kaz
Doesn't
runs in
follow his
front of
runner at all.
McAllister and then has a free header. That's nothing to do with people being leggy. That's literally two midfielders who saw their main striker run past them and not one thought, I probably should pick him up.
Yeah.
And, I think I missed you guys said, I felt that the first half was fine and I felt two lapses had just cost us a lead. But I felt Liverpool could get in behind them. And then, obviously, we had the Jota miss, literally a 1-1. So, annoyed to be 2-1 down at half-time. But I still thought Liverpool would get back into it. No changes at half-time. Second half, though, I thought Villa started probably the better for the first 10 minutes. And then Liverpool sort of grew into it. And Ashley, you did the greatest jinx I've ever seen, which I quite like.
Yep, I'll take credit for that. I like... There was one point in that game where Trent had passed, I think it was at 57 minutes. Trent tried one of those, what is it called? Like the swaz passes. I don't know what the terminology is with the UK. Yeah. But he tried to put that, special little spin on his pass and it just went straight to one of their defenders. And I flipped out in our chat. I was like, what are you doing? Like, he can't pick out the easy pass for love nor money. And then about 20 seconds later, the ball's in the back of the net and it's Trent's goal. And yeah, I love when that happens.
He enjoyed that goal.
He did.
It was interesting reading online how the narrative from Trent changed, Kev, very quickly.
On that.
He was a bag of shite. He doesn't want to be here. He can't be arsed. As soon as he scored the equaliser, Trent's played really well. It's amazing how people's opinions of the player.
Everyone's pissed off that he got substituted. Everyone thinks
but everyone's pissed off he got subbed now. But everyone wants.
That was a fitness call first and foremost. That had nothing to do with the fact that he scored or didn't score. Especially now with hindsight, knowing Bradley went down, even more reason to make sure that we're like really babying Trent back into fitness because our defenders are, we are getting a little bit thin on the ground there.
A few minutes before he scored, there was Villa had a break and Rashford, Trent was up the pitch. Rashford was in, and I think it was Gravenberch come across and defended him, and Trent looked like he was struggling to get back. That's why I texted into the chat. It was on about 56, 57 minutes. He's looking a bit leggy. Because there was two changes you expected to be made. You expected Jota and Trent to get at best an hour. All right, they're both coming back from injury. They were always only really going to get an hour unless there was something drastic happened that they had to stay on the pitch. So when McAllister made the pass to get him away, it was a good one too. And this was what I mean about Mo earlier on. Mo doesn't really look like he's involved in the game as much as what you want him to. But the fact that he ran at Digne didn't know what to do, so he went to ground and dinked the ball over him. Back to Trent. Trent just gambled. He took the shot. Keeper probably saves it, but Ming's deflection takes it in, and it's 2-2. And half an hour to go. It's not anyone's game. I think we're in the ascendancy then at that stage, and it was like just keep doing what you're doing, keep playing how you're playing, because we were getting chances. It was like just keep the pressure going, and just try to work a really good chance.
Yeah, I think that how do you guys feel about the substitutes? Do you think like we were just saying with Trent and Jota coming off, they need to come off for fitness reasons. They need to come off because they're being managed. Do you think that them coming off then change rather the flow of the game? Do you think that they are the reason why we lost that impetus that was going forward right there?
Whenever you make changes, that can happen. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you. But I didn't think it did really, because we went on and we still created openings after that for a few minutes. The glaring one came on 69 minutes, so I don't think it really affected anything. And I thought Bradley was really good when he came on, so it's just a case of, I wonder if Darwin was carrying a knock. Oh, sorry, not Darwin, Diaz.
Yes.
Because
I don't think we can give Darwin that excuse, unfortunately.
No, I think Diaz might be carrying something because he's played the last 3 games on the bounce. So the fact that he didn't start tonight, you can understand. But the fact the other problem, he didn't come on until the last 10 minutes. That kind of surprised me. I understand you want to try and make the game safe and maybe have a go again with 10 to go. But the question would be, if he was fit and ready, would he have been the first change rather than Darwin?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you would say is when we brought them two on, the best chance of the game was created, and both were involved. Unfortunately, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's a horrific miss by Darwin. It's an open goal. I mean, I've seen the replay. There's even an argument Sopla doesn't have to pass it to Nunez. He could take a shot on, but look,
Nunez had the easier shot.
But honestly, how he's missed, I'll never know.
I genuinely thought when I was watching that the defender had to have gotten a touch on the ball. Like, it was that bad of a miss that I was like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing block by the defender. And then when I saw it back to see that there was no ball, I was astounded.
So it's just really disappointing. Obviously, I've seen online, some people getting grumpy with Darwin now because apparently at full time he did a quick clap and he went down the pitch, took his shirt off, and looked really upset. I was like, yeah, it's almost like Kev. He's just gone. I've missed a massive opportunity, and it's in his head.
He knows. Players know.
What would you want him to do? I wouldn't expect to be happy.
Look, players know. It was the one thing about that move. The pass into Szoboszlai from Conor Bradley was brilliant. Could Damo have taken the shot on? Possibly, but I think just like Jota in the first half, you put it across, you're taking the keeper out of the equation. You're making sure he has to finish that. I understand Disasi's coming across, so you have to lift it, but you don't have to hit the fucking back of it. Like you hate the damn thing.
Yeah.
He kicked that like he hated the fucking ball. And all it needed was a bit of fucking finesse. Just a nice bit of pace on the ball, just take it over the defender and just finish it. You're 3-2 up, 20 minutes to go. You manage it. It was everyone's biggest fear come true because we said it all season that there are going to be games when you need him to take that one chance and he doesn't. And that was it. That was and nobody is going to know it more than the player himself. The player himself will know that more than anyone, and he'd have probably been embarrassed going to applaud the fans.
Yeah,
but when he comes out of it, he fucking knows. They're not idiots. They know what's at stake, and he'll know more than anyone. And you can sit here and I can sit here and slate him and shout and bawl and roar, and it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. It's not going to make me feel any better, and he ain't going to get any better from it either. So what's the point?
No.
It's like he knows, we know. Odds are a decision is going to be made on him and probably a couple of others towards the end of the season. And today won't have helped his cause. But at the same time, if he'd have finished it, I still think that decision is going to be made on him. So at the end of the day, he's got to get his head down and just move on.
I think a decision's made on both number 9s, Ashley, because probably the one person who's happy about Nunez' misses Jota, because I'll be honest, Jota's since he's come back, he's also missing a lot of chances. Both our number 9s aren't being clinical, and to be honest, we wouldn't say that about Jota, but you've got to be fair. Since he's come back, he hasn't been clearly. He was more involved today, which we haven't seen for a little while. But there was shots and half chance there, which you'd expect him to do better with.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a reason why we've been playing a left winger as a center forward. Even at times when we've had number 9s that are fit, I know some of them have been injured. I'm going to give Jota more slack because he's coming back from injury. And he also, to me, has more credit in the bank. I think with Nunez, we've really reached that tipping point where, but he tracks back and he works hard.
The goodwill's kind of gone with him.
Yeah, I genuinely think that the goodwill has kind of worn off. And I think that it's past the point of now or never for him. I think anytime he does do something that's positive or he has a goal that goes in, which is few and far between, it's more of a bonus. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's a redemption arc to me anymore. And I think that we were all hoping for a Nunez redemption arc. I don't think we're going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, Wade Nelson makes a good point. Gakpo was missed in the last couple
Very
of
much
games.
so.
I think he's very much missed, Kev, isn't he? I mean, the hope is he's back at least in the squad for the weekend. Because I think if those chances fall to Gakpo, you'd back Gakpo to take one of them.
He's in a really good he's in a good vein of form anyway. I think he's on 15 for the season or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's not as if he's been gun shy or anything like that. And yeah, he's got that pace and strength and threat in behind and physicality coming in off the wing that and he offers a serious goal threat. So look, yeah, he has been missed, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, there was enough there. You know, there was another chance as well in the first half. I thought, just go back to it. Only just came into my head when you guys were chatting there. Robertson put a lovely cross into the box for Salah.
He volleys it.
You know what I mean? You really need him to. You know, you expect him to do better from that. You know, it's not a forte of his. It's not a massive strength, but that was a brilliant cross. You know, and it was a cross that deserved to be headed back on target. You know, but this is what I mean. We created plenty of chances. You know, so worry about it when you're going through a game and you're getting a 1-0 win or something, but you've only created 3 or 4 chances in a game at best. You know, this wasn't that. This was a game that if we'd have won that 4-5, you know, if they'd have got 3, if we just finished our chances, they were good chances, and scored, you know, another 2, you wouldn't be saying that it was a robbery or anything close, or, you know, the Villa were hard done by. You know, the chances that we created were really good chances. Didn't go in tonight, but you know,
I mean, both of our number 9s were not. They don't cover themselves in glory today. Both of them.
No.
You know, I know that Jota makes that pass, but you know, when I say I am excusing him, I'm saying that more in the context of the season, in terms of, you know, he's been injured. You know, with Nunez, he's been fit. He's just not been chosen. He's not been performing, and so that's the only reason why I'm being a little bit more hard on him.
See, Jota had 6 efforts, 6 shots tonight. You know,
he
which
looks
is
to me like the more dangerous of the two. Where I feel like with Nunez, it feels like it's a passenger at this point.
It's hopeful.
It feels like he's a passenger. Where, you know, I see him do things, and it's like, if it was any other player, I would think, oh my gosh, yes, chance. Now I see it and I'm like, oh, it's Nunez. It'll be, you know, whatever. He'll be offside, or, you know, he'll do something stupid with a shot or whatever. And I'm actually at the point where, you know, I think Jota getting some fitness might push him forward in the rankings, but I kind of want to see Chiesa above Nunez getting time at the 9 at this point, which I, especially after that cup game the other day, he did nothing to cover himself in glory, but I kind of just want to see a different option there. We haven't seen Chiesa at all. And I don't know. I don't know what he's doing to not get into the team. Same thing with Elliott. I don't know what he's doing to not get into the team. There's obviously something going on with both of those players, but I don't know. That's just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I know. And then probably the biggest disappointments, other than not winning, Kev, was the loss of Conor Bradley with on the 89th minute.
Non-contact injury too.
Or a non-binary injury, some would say.
Oh God! Like autocorrect is my nemesis.
Honestly, that was funny. That made me laugh out loud because I was quite worried about.
You did some comic relief, right?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
I listened to Slot's post-match, and he thinks that it happened when he was attacking, and it was he had a sprint, and he tried to put a cross in that got blocked, and he thinks it might have happened there.
So was it his ankle?
I think he was pointing towards the inside of his ankle. You know,
so hopefully it's more of an impact.
It's more of just an impact thing.
Yeah,
I think when he went down at the time, my worry was hamstring because there was no one around him. But if it is an ankle thing and it is an impact, that would be kind of the best case scenario.
Yeah, it's an odd one because he wasn't comfortable when he was defending, before he came off.
Mm.
He was running backwards, and you obviously know when you run backwards, it pulls differently on different muscles and stuff like that. Go and try it sometime. Go and run backwards, and you feel your thighs burning. But hopefully, it's nothing serious. He did the right thing by coming off. Joel Kwanzaa came on and saw the game out. It was fine, but it was point, and it could be a costly one depending on that injury. You just hope it. Worst case scenario, look, Trent's got a 20 and 260s into his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully for the weekend he might need to do 90 or he might need to do 70 or 80 and then come off with 10 to go or something like that. He needs to be managed for sure. But it's
I just threw in a couple quotes.
Yeah. No, that's
We'll
it's just one of those type injuries that always makes you worry when you see someone go down and there's nobody around. But touch wood, hopefully it is just from when he put that cross in, it was like his ankle might have jarred. So that's all we can go for. I don't think we're going to find anything out on Friday when Arne Slot has his press conference. Then we'll, I think he'll probably come out with he's being assessed line, and then we'll know more next week. But look, we've got Man City, Newcastle, then we don't play for a week.
5 days, isn't it, before the Champions League?
Yeah,
then
exactly.
It's Southampton. Then it's Champions League, Southampton at home, Champions League, and then Everton.
But it's one Premier League game, I think, until April. After that,
yeah.
Basically, we've got 7 days, and then a big chunk of time where we're just doing other competitions or it's an international break. So in terms of injuries, there maybe is a blessing in disguise there in terms of time to recover. But you never want to see a player go down.
That's jumping miles ahead. But if it's a case that he misses the Northern Ireland internationals, that gives him plenty of time. But we're all guessing. It literally could be a case he jarred his ankle. It's sore tonight. He'll be assessed tomorrow, and it's fine. We don't know, But nobody likes seeing a player asking to come off. So, but I think they're already pre-programmed. Really, if you feel anything slight at all, don't gamble. Especially when you're in a position where,
I think the only time we tell you to gamble is probably like if it's like semi-finals near the end. Yeah. If you're in one near the end of the season, then they're probably Then you can take the gamble a little bit.
Yeah.
But so what's it got? I mean, in terms of obviously we'll talk about it tomorrow on Friday, but Man City next, who were beaten very comfortably by Real Madrid. Probably the frustration for us is a lot of their main attacking guys just didn't get off the bench because I think it was done and dusted on 50, and I probably didn't decide not to risk them. So
I don't know how fit Haaland is, though. I don't.
No, but
I think that knee injury was more severe than we thought. I would have thought that he would have at least gotten put on just to try to make a game out of it. But
yeah, I think it was 2-0 at half time, so I think that pretty much killed it then. So I think it was a non-event after that point. So a couple of things just to talk about before we get Ashley's quote corner. So don't forget our charity partners. We've got the Lighthouse Cafe in Dublin, and we've also got fan supporting food banks. Our aim is to get to 10,000 euros, and then we'll give 5,000 euros to each charity. So link is in the description below. Also in the description below is friend of the show, Pete Smith. He's a busy boy at the moment, so he's he's in a Phil Lynott Enigma show, which is on in Victoria Street in June, so you can get tickets for that. And just to really show off, he's also in a new film called Code Red Spain, which should be released later in the year. I think it was at one of the film festivals recently. So
Berlin Film Festival.
So I think it's that his second or third film now. He gets around.
I know he was in a Netflix series last year.
Yeah, I missed his series, so I'll have to keep an eye. I've seen the trailer. The trailer looks really good. He's a busy boy, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's a show, isn't he?
Yeah,
just a show.
He's a good-looking show-off, though, isn't he? Let's be honest.
I know. He's good-looking. He can sing and he can act. It's really annoying, isn't it? And he's also a nice bloke. So it's really hard to dislike him.
Shit, isn't it?
I know. Git. And then Ashley's going, I'm stuck with these two pricks. How does this work out? This is good.
All right.
I never said that.
Oh, and also, hey, Avino, it's like new channel member, so thank you very much.
Nice one, man.
Welcome.
Cool. And also, if you want to be a channel member, keep an eye out because we are soon moving to Patreon. That is a big announcement that's going to come in very soon. So everything you get now, you'll get through Patreon, but we'll be able to do more things, some more pre-record stuff, just stuff that, as Ashley said in the last show, we probably have wanted to do, but we don't really have the capability to do them on YouTube. So this is going to be a new, exciting opportunity for us. So again, have a look, check out Patreon. That's going to go live middle of next month. So something to look out for. Right, time for Ashley's quote corner. We should get a jingle. We should get a jingle for this, shouldn't we?
Oh, jeez.
I might ask now. Can we get a jingle for Ashley's quote corner? Right.
Oh, geez. All right.
Here we go.
So there was a couple quotes from Robbie Fowler at the beginning on Darwin Nunez. On the chance running at Martinez, he says, if he flicks it over, he scores the goal. That's why you worry about Darwin Nunez. You wonder if he thinks about the game enough. He continues on Darwin Nunez. He doesn't think, does he? Which isn't what you really want to hear. So Slot had a couple quotes post-match. He said, unfortunately for 4 to 5 months, Jota hasn't been available. He could only play 60 today. Same with Trent. That's why we made the substitutions. He continues, if you look at the chances we had in the second half, there is one player in the dressing room who feels quite down. You know who it is. We know who it is. On the Conor Bradley injury, he says, you never know what it is. If a player goes out, it's never good. He continues, the pressure is always on you if you are Liverpool. The pressure is on you if you play for Arsenal. We want to achieve something this season. We have the ingredients. He continues, there have been a few games where we didn't get as much as we deserve. Oh.
That's Slot calling you in now saying, oh, yeah.
I know.
Ashley, guess what? Ashley, you're on YouTube, Ashley. Ashley, guess what? You're on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Anyways, continuing. Slot continues. He says, they were a constant threat. That's why I was so happy how we defended it. You know, if you go here, it's a difficult one because of the team they have and because of the fans. Virgil was interviewed as well post-match. He said, we know we have a very tough one at the weekend when we play Newcastle. Our focus is now on Man City. We have to fight for every single point. We have to focus on ourselves. He continued, we need everyone in the best shape, players, fans. Let's see what it brings. He continues, we tried everything tonight. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for 3 points. Credit to Aston Villa. They made it very difficult for us. Now we move on. We have to keep fighting and keep going. Van Dijk continues, we're a bit disappointed. We had chances to win the game. We took a bit of a risk at the end. It opened up. We take the point and we move on. A couple more Slot quotes. He said, every team has to play every team twice. And this week it's Villa away and City away. But again, we didn't lose. Couple fun facts. Salah has both scored and assisted in the same match in 3 of his last 4 games in all competitions. And he's scored in 7 straight games now. Back to Slot's quotes. There's no rhyme or reason to the order of these. We apologize. Slot said, we desired more, and that's the only thing we can blame ourselves for a few times now. We did not get what we deserved. We must not make a habit of that. We played Wolves away and beat them 2-1, and in the final minutes, it was tough for us as well. These players are used to this, and they're used to playing for trophies. Today, we played very well, but that also has to do with the style of play of the other team. It felt like we defended well, but I can't come up with a lot of Villa chances. You need to have a neutral set piece balance or positive, and we conceded 1 and we did not score 1. We scored 2 good goals and created enough chances to get the winner. Another fun fact. Salah is
busy
the first
today, Ashley.
I know, I was very busy. This is why I can't host at the same time as doing these shows. Another fun fact is Salah is the first player in Premier League history to score and assist in 10 different games in one season. That's 52 overall. And the first player to achieve that particular feat in Europe's top 5 leagues was Lionel Messi. So he's in very esteemed company there. He's also the first player to register 15 plus goals and 15 plus assists in a single season since Hazard in 1819. And then again, just going back to the Conor Bradley stuff, he is awaiting further diagnosis on the injury sustained by Bradley during the draw. So we're just going to wait and see for that.
Here we go.
Final thoughts on Slot. He said, if there was one of the 2 teams who deserved to win, I felt like it was us. And if you're an XG kind of guru, the XG actually was quite heavily in our favor. I didn't think it looked like that, but it was heavily in our favor. The last kind of rallying cry from Slot was, we want to achieve something together this season, and we have all the ingredients for it. 12 games to go.
What's that?
Yeah. So great from that. And then McAllister kind of echoed that same thing. We have to take the point and we have to keep working. So they are all in on this.
Well, there's less than a third of the season left now. We're inside the final third of the season. We've got more home games than away games. It's a tough run now that we've got with fixture wise, with Newcastle, Man City, Newcastle. But you're not going to be playing that caliber of opponent week in, week out either. So it's not going to be back to the wall, 50-50 games right the way through. So look, deep breath, relax. It'll be fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Take a breath.
And there may be, honestly, like this weekend's going to be hard. Newcastle's going to be hard. There's going to be bumps in this road. It's not going to be smooth sailing all the way. So it's, and it seems like the players are really asking the fans to kind of buckle up for this as well. You hear it a lot from Virgil in the last 2 matches in the post-match. He really asks fans to kind of step up and get behind the team. He knows that they are not playing to the best of their abilities right now. He knows that there are going to be bumps in the road. He needs us to kind of all just get on board to the best of our ability. I know that we're all looking back at seasons past, like with a little bit of PTSD, thinking, we can't do it again. I don't want to put myself through it again. I don't want to go through the pain again, but it's not City this time. And just try to take a step back and try to, I don't know, just get away from the narratives for a little while, because honestly, if you sit there and listen to some of the narratives, you will spiral.
This is way harder. This is way harder this season than it was in the COVID year. Way harder. Look, the COVID year, the title was done. The title was well and truly over. We were way clear. We sat back and we enjoyed it completely. It was just a chill. This time it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be hard yards. And no, I don't care who you are. Nobody enjoys this. You enjoy it after when you got 3 points. Then you can sit back and relax and enjoy the game. But while you're in it, it's torture. It's absolute torture at times. It's frustration, it's agony, it's pain, it's frustration again. And then you realize that we're unbeaten away from home this season, I think. Yeah?
Yep.
So
still got the best away record of the league.
For anyone saying that our away form is this, that, and the other, we're unbeaten away from home.
We have the best away record in the league at the moment.
In English football. We have the best away record in English football. And we're a really good side at Anfield.
We're a really good side, full stop. The way that some people are talking, you would think that we are in the same shoes as Man United. We are not. We are not even close. We're not even in the same stratosphere. Please don't let all of these narratives pull you down and make you so miserable that you forget to enjoy the fact that we are in a title race, that we are leading the title race. Don't let it all be all consuming.
Yeah. And also, if you're an opposition fan, you want to come in the chat, sound. Just don't be a bellend, or you get banned. So don't worry.
We don't mind opposition fans, honestly.
We have some good
banter. It's great. Just don't be insulting. And there's obviously a line that you don't.
Be like Davey T or Arsenal for life. Good laugh.
It's fine. If you want to engage, that's great. We appreciate fans from everyone. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah. There you go. Got us a swear.
You heard the boss.
You heard the boss. Got it done. Right. Soon we got Ashley to swear. You go first, Ashley. And if you take Kev's one, I'll be made up. Man of the match, honourable mention, could do better. That isn't Darwin Nunez, just to make it a bit more difficult.
Okay. Let's see. I think that Kev and I agree on the man of the match. I don't think that it's that big of a shout to steal it. So I'm gonna give it to McAllister. I'm just gonna do it.
Fuming. Look at his face. He's fuming.
I think it's clear though. Yeah. You can have the same one. It's just watching him absolutely put his body on the line. He must have gotten like bullied off of that ball at least 10 times. Like he was on the floor more than he was playing, but watching him orchestrate, I think he's playing a really pivotal role, especially as we're kind of seeing a little bit of a dip in Gravenberch's form. And I think that McAllister can be there as like a counterbalance to really pick up some of that slack. So that's who I'm going to give it to for that. I can't look past Mo for honorable mention. It's just checking things off of a list for him in terms of, whatever records he's going to do. And again, like I said, he is the one that is kind of single-handedly dragging us to the top of the table, and we would never be where we are without him. So he's my honorable mention, because I just think it'd be wrong to not mention him. Could do better.
That isn't Darwin. Just to.
I know that we can't talk about number 9. So I don't know if it's a could do better. I'm gonna bring it up as a conversation point. I think that there might be a discussion to be had around Gravenberch in terms of he looks a little bit leggy. He looks a little bit tired. I don't think he was bad today, but I think that especially in this kind of 4-man midfield, I was surprised to still kind of not see him. I don't know. I just feel like he didn't stand out again, and I'm used to him standing out. And maybe he just put the bar so high, but I was looking at, again, the reason I want to bring it up as a discussion point is I was looking at his minutes, and he hasn't missed it. He's already doubled his minutes from last season, and he's only about 400 minutes away from his maximum season total at Ajax. So in terms of where we are with him and how we choose to manage him, again, I don't think he did poorly. And I think Jota and Nunez kind of stand alone in that bracket. But since we're not talking about number 9s, I'm gonna go with him.
Okay, Kev, who's in your ones?
Just one thing there, say. I just want to just put this point up and say, and I'll come back to that. JD's asking the points. Why are we taking Arsenal lightly? Although they've fumbled a few times, they fumbled a few times, but they have an experience now that won't make the same mistakes they've done in the past. No one's taking them lightly. The thing is, I think a lot of people under-egg how good we've been this season. And I think Arsenal are having a very good season. All jokes aside, I think Arsenal they're on a 15-game run unbeaten. They're having a good season. They're getting bad injuries, long injuries at the wrong time. The difference is Arsenal have to win every game. That's a massive pressure. It's a different kettle of fish to last season when they were ahead. But Man City were always there, and they still, it was like they were ahead, but I honestly don't think anyone really expected them to stay there. I think they had their chance last year and they really fluffed it. This time, I think they're missing key players at a bad time. I watched them last week, and they were against the Leicester side, who ain't very good. Let's be honest. They really are a poor side, and they needed 2 late goals from a midfielder to come on to play up front, and they got the win. They got over the line, but that they have to do that all the time now. And that is a really big ask, especially when you factor in they're still going to be in Europe as well, same as us.
They have to come to Anfield.
Yeah, and I look.
I hope that we don't need that game, but I do think that is.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is sitting here saying Arsenal is poor. Nobody's saying that they're not worthy champions that are just going to we are going to be watching our backs this entire time. This is not going to be a runaway season. They will absolutely keep us honest. This is not going to be a runaway season. If you think that that's what this is going to be, you're in for a rough ride. But I do think that they have their own set of concerns. They are not. They're not like some sort of invincible giant that we are used to going up against, where it genuinely feels like if we make one mistake, the season's over. And I think that's something that we have to be careful about.
Vino makes a point here. In 15 games unbeaten, they still haven't made up a single point on us. and that's just the truth.
They might when they make up this game in hand.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. They still have to play it though.
You know what I mean? We saw that with the Everton game where it's like having that game in hand. It doesn't really mean anything.
No, we're not going to go between now and the end of the season winning every game. We're just not. We will probably chuck in a loss or two here and there. And we'll probably chuck in a few draws.
2 draws. Yeah. There might be a loss. Like it's not going to be smooth sailing.
Quiet, Ashley. Don't be saying things like that.
It's true. I mean, you have to be honest about it. We're not in a swashbuckling form at the minute, and we're picking up points while we're not playing good. I mean, look, you asked for my man of the match. I went for McAllister purely and simply. Is passing today. Bear in mind the midfield of both sides, how tight and congested that space was. He had 98% pass accuracy in that game. He was buffeted and bullied and harassed. He won more duels than anyone on the pitch. He won 10 duels. I think Gravenberch won 3. He was everywhere. He was all over the place. He was the most foul player on the pitch. But they can't get away from having that level of passing accuracy in a game with that talent in the middle of the park. And I thought he was very good today. Mo Salah again gave Digne a torrent time. Goal and assist again, phenomenal. And someone added up in the chat earlier on, Andy Robertson.
Davey T said it.
Andy Robertson
the change in formation really benefited him. I think like seeing him really push out wide, he was able to whip in a few crosses that felt very Robertson of old. Yeah. There were a few things that it suited him.
Yeah, I thought defensively he was okay. Going forward, he was a constant option. He held his width really well, got some good crosses into the box. Could do better. I have to say, I mean, I think Szoboszlai, he worked really hard. Again, is what you expect from him. But there was a couple of chances, half chances that he had that I thought he could have worked the keeper a bit better. Made some really good decisions at times. I thought the pass across for Darwin was the right decision, and it was accurate. It was really good. But I think there's more to come. He's got so much more ability than what we're seeing at the minute. He's still young, and experience is only going to improve him as a player. But he would probably be the one. I thought Trent, his passing was better today. His long passing was better. He was more accurate. Still tried some of the audacious passes when the simple one was on at times, mainly into Salah. The pass into Salah was always on to use Salah as a wall to get it back, to maybe lay someone else in. I thought he could have done that a little bit more instead of going for an audacious passes. But look, that's just the way he is. That's his game. I thought Konate was good. I'm probably stealing all of Chris's juice here, but look, we're going to head off in a minute. But so Konate, because he was asked to...
Unbelievable.
Konate was asked
to... 2 more players we haven't talked about, though.
I know, but Konate was asked to defend on the front foot against a really forward-thinking Aston Villa side. I thought he did that really well.
It reminds me of the first time we played Villa, where Watkins couldn't get any change out of Konate, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go over to Virgil's side," and it's not very often that you see that. I think that they really mesh well against each other in terms of an attacker and defender. I think that Konate really relishes that challenge.
Yeah, I mean, look, man of the match is McAllister. I think all 3 of us. You can't have said there's like a close second. He was comfortably there for us. In terms of honourable mentions, Robbo. And Davey T already mentioned it, but I thought Robbo was solid today. Decent going forward. I was pretty happy with him all in all, and I think could do better. Still think our corners are shit. Just in general, I just think our corners.
I agree with you.
I think our corners.
If you guys don't know in the chat, our corners are one of my greatest pet peeves.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to McAllister, I thought McAllister's delivery from corners was better.
The first one was good. The first one looked like it's like they had practiced one corner, or they had had time to practice one corner, and they used it up really early.
Unfortunately, it felt a Virgil. You're like, oh no.
I know, but that like it did look like they practiced one corner.
Yeah,
but they're
cool.
Marginally better today, but yeah,
Okay,
low bar.
Right, anyway, on that happy note, we're going to go. So it finished Villa 2, Liverpool 2. Liverpool are still top of the league. They've extended the lead to 8 points. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be great fun. Until then, thank you, Kev. Thank you, Ashley. And we'll speak to you all very, very soon.
Thanks, everyone.